Hey, pre-calc 1 guys, I'm gonna do section 3-4, which we're gonna begin to solve equations with logarithms and exponential functions. We're gonna do the first half of it and have a quiz on Monday or Tuesday, depending on when your class meets. And then the last part of it, same section, 3.4, we're splitting that section into two, and then we'll have a quiz on the final one, and then we're a week from Monday or Tuesday, and then we'll be done with the class. So let me just go through these examples. I just chose a bunch of even ones from this page 488. That's what page this is, page 488 in section 3.4. And I hope you can follow this. And so here we go. Number 2, this one is just asking 3 to what power is 81. Now there's a couple ways to do this. 3 to what power is 81, you can just count and see how many 3's make an 81. We go 3 times 3, that's 9, times another 3, that's 27, times another 3, 27 times 3 is 81. So our answer for this one would be x equals 4. That's one way to do it. The other way to do it is if you can't think of that, like say, well, it was a number that I couldn't think of or it was too big, what we could do is, we're going to get into a little bit more for the harder ones, is we could take a common log of each side. And remember, we're allowed to do anything we want to both sides of an equal sign, right? So we took the function, the log of each side. We're using our properties. We'll move this one out front. And then we'll just solve for x by dividing both sides by the log of 3. Now the log of 3 is a number. I don't know what it is, but my calculator does. And if you put in your calculator log of 81, close the parentheses, and then divide it by the log of 3, close those parentheses, and hit enter, a 4 is going to pop out. Pretty amazing. So that's something you can do over and over again. Same procedure. Take the log of both sides, move your exponent out front, divide both sides by the log of 3. If we were to do this, we know that 3 to the third is 27, so therefore a 2x plus 1 should equal a 3, because this would have to be a 3 in order to make a 27. Then you just solve this equation like any other one that you would. So I'm going to subtract a 1 over, and I'm going to get 2x equals 2. Divide both sides by 2, and I'll get x equals 1. So our answer for that one is going to be x equals 1. This one was a 4. So you could try these again. This one here, 125. Well, let's think about it. 5 times 5 is 25, times another 5, that makes 125. But it's on the bottom. So that means that this, if it were a 3, it would make 125, but if it's a negative 3, it would make 1 over 125. That means the 2 minus x had to be a negative 3, because 5 to the third is 125, but 5 to the negative third makes 1 over 125. Then we solve this equation. We'd add the 3 over the other side and get 5, and add the x over this side and we get an x. This is another one that we can solve another way, by taking the log of both sides like this, and the log of this side, which is, we're going to bring this 125 up and make it a negative. And then this, we're going to bring the 2 minus x out front of the log of 5. And this one, we're going to bring the negative 1 out front of the log of 125. So using our exponent rule to bring that exponent out front and bring this exponent out front. Now don't forget, it's the x that we want to solve for. So we're going to divide both sides by the log of 5, and we'll have negative log of 125 divided by the log of 5. And then you could actually type that into your calculator and see what happens. So if I put in a negative log of 125. Don't forget to close that parentheses. Divide it by the log of 5. And we're going to get a negative 3 on this side. So we'll have a 2 minus x equals negative 3. Add the 3 over to this side, we get a 5. Add the x over to that side, and we get a positive x. You can even pause this video and try these for yourself. These here, there's two ways you could do it. You can do it that way, the pink way, or you can say, well, 8 is really 2 to the third, isn't it? And 4 is really 2 squared. So we have this kind of thing going on. And the only time we multiply exponents is when one is raised to another. So we're going to get 2 to the 3 minus 3x. I distribute it. Equals 2 to the 2x plus 4. Now think about this. If this side has a base of 2 and this side has a base of 2, then this here is got to equal this. These two exponents have to equal the same thing. So I will just get a 3 minus 3x equals a 2x plus 4 and solve this like I was in 9th grade. Add the 3x over, get a 5x, add the 4 over to the other, subtract the 4 over to the other side, and we're going to get a negative 1, and then x is going to equal a negative 1/5. So try that one, think about it again. This one goes to this here, over here, so you don't get these mixed up. Let's look at this one here. This one we could do a couple of different ways as well. But think about this. I'll show you two ways for this one. If this is equal to this, and I want this to bring this up so that I have an e in both bases, but I brought it up so I changed the exponent to a negative. I have e to the x plus 4 equals e to the minus 2x. The x plus 4 and the minus 2x have to be the same. If you have to pause or rewind this video to see it again, do that. So these two exponents have to be the same in order to make the two sides of the equal sign equal. So then what we're going to do is we're just going to subtract the x over. However you want to do this, we'll make a negative 3x and divide both sides by negative 3, and we'll get a negative 4/3. Another way to do this problem, if we look at it a different way, what we could do is take the natural log of both sides equals natural log of e to the negative 2x. And the reason why we take the natural log, because when it comes to e and ln, they both reduce very nicely. Let me use my properties. I'll bring the 1x plus 4 out front of the ln of e, and I'll bring the minus 2x out front of the ln of e. Notice that I brought this up and made this e to the negative 2x. ln of e is 1, so look what we get. We got x plus 4 equals minus 2x, which is the same as that equation over there. Does it make sense? Let's look at the next one. This one, I have no idea 19 to what power will make a 143. So what I'll do is I'll take a log of both sides, because I'm allowed to do anything I want to both sides of the equal sign. I will then move the x out front. That's my log property with exponents. I can move that exponent out front. Then I divide both sides by the log of 19 on this side and divide it on this side. They cancel out here, and this is my answer. I typed this in my calculator. Let's see what it comes out to be. So I'm going to go log of 143. Don't forget to close that parentheses. The parentheses should be right here. Divide it by the log of 19, and I'm going to get 1.68. 1.6855. Now what does that actually mean, that 1.6855? That means if I took a 19 and I raised it to the 1.6855, this should come out to be 143, or very close to it, because I had to round at some point. Try this in your calculator. You would use this button, that exponent button, 19 to the 1.6855, and then hit enter, and you'll see that it should come back out to be 143. It should come back out to be that. Alright, let's try some more. I got 4 more for you, so hang in there. And we're only at 10 minutes, so that's okay. This one here, this is ugly, this problem, this number 36. And what I want to do is I want to try to simplify it and always solve for the ugly part. So what I'll do is I'll just add a 7 to both sides. I'm going to add a 7 over here and a 7 over here to try to isolate this ugly part of the equation, which is e to the 4x minus 5. The 7's cancel out, and I'm going to get 11,250 that will be if I add the 7 over. Now since this has an e in the equation, I won't take the log of both sides. What I'll do is I'll take a ln of both sides, which is a natural log, because ln reduces with an e really nicely. I'll use my exponent properties to move this out front. And I'll get ln of 11,250 over here. Ln of e is 1. So what I have is 4x minus 5 equals this ln of 11,250. So in my calculator, I'm just going to go like this. Let's clear this out. I'm going to go ln, which is over here next to the number 4, 11,250, close the parentheses, and hit enter. And I'm going to get a 9.33 about. So let's call this a 9.33. Now this is an easy problem. I add a 5 to both sides. 5 and 9 is what? 14. So it's a 14.33. And then I'm going to divide both sides by 4. Divide it by 4, and let's see what we get. That 14.33, so I'm adding a 5. 14.33 divided by 4 is a 3.58. What does that mean? If we put 3.58 in for x over here, got that number, e to that number minus 7 should come out to be that. Let's look at number 40. Number 40, again, very strange problem. This is a 0.2 over here. This is nothing that we would guess, or nothing that we could even solve algebraically if we didn't have logarithms. So since it doesn't have an e, you can take an ln of both sides. You'll still get the same answer. But I'm going to take a log of both sides, because I usually reserve my ln for problems that have an e in them. Oh, log of 0.2. I'm going to move my exponent out front, which happens to be an x over 7. It's ugly, but don't be afraid of it, because it's not any different than the other ones. And then what we're going to do is we're going to divide both sides by the log of 3. Log of 3 is a number. It's a regular constant number. So we divide both sides by it, and we're going to get x over 7 equals, and I'll find out what this log of 0.2 over log of 3 is. Let's go to our calculator. We're going to go log of 0.2 divided by log of 3, and we're going to get a negative x over 7 equals a negative 1.46. I'm going to use a bunch of decimal places so that there's little error in my problem. Now to get the next part, since x is being divided by a 7, we're going to multiply both sides by 7. So all I have to do is take that number in my calculator and multiply it by 7 to get my answer, and I'm going to get negative 10.25. So try these again. If you want to pause the video or wait till it's over, it's up to you. But try these again. Make sure you can get these answers. Last two. This one, again, we're going to take a log of both sides. It looks a little bit more complicated, but you're actually doing the same thing each time. You're taking the log of both sides. You're going to move that exponent out front. I put the parentheses around it so I remember that it's this whole thing times the log, not just a 1 times the log if I didn't have the parentheses there. Same thing on this side. X plus 2, this x plus 2 times the log of 3. Now I have 2 x's in here though. We could do a couple of things. We can get that number and distribute it inside. We could divide both sides by 1 or the other right now and then distribute it. Let's find out what they are and let's distribute them inside. I need a log of 7 that I'm going to put there, and a log of 3 which I'm going to put there. So log of 7 comes out to be 845.845. And the log of 3, the log of 3 is equal to 477. Make sure you can get those with your calculator. If I distribute them in there, the 845.845 times 2, that's going to give me a 1.69 plus the 845. So all I did was I took this 845, this is 1.69 x, don't want to forget that x, and I distribute it inside. And then I'm going to distribute this one inside to both of those. And I'm going to get a 0.477x plus 2 times 0.477. And it comes out to 954. Now this is ugly in the sense that it has ugly numbers in it, but it's not that hard to do algebraically. So I'm going to take that 1.69 and I'm going to subtract the 0.954, and so I'm going to, the 477, 1.69 minus 0.477, and so I'm going to subtract that from both sides. So I'm going to go minus 0.477x minus 0.477x. If you have to pause the video, you can do that because I'm moving kind of quick. These cancel, and I'm going to get a 1.213 x plus 0.845 equals 0.954. I'm now going to subtract this one over to the other side to get the numbers together, just like I got the letter terms together. So this 0.954 minus the 0.845 comes out to be 109.109. These cancel. I get a 1.213x equals that. And what am I going to do? I'm going to divide both sides by 1.213. And my answer should come out to be 0899. So that would be my final answer there. If you find a mistake in here, that I made a mistake somewhere, and you're right, I'll give you extra credit. So you should do these again. This one is a little bit trickier. The last one's in that section. So you're going to be doing homework from 1 to 48 on page 488. But this one, we can rewrite this as e squared to the 2x. And this will be e to 2x. So they look the same. And here's the process for doing one like this. What we're going to do is we're going to say, well, what if this wasn't an, this would be a e squared to the x, like this. So these two things, so we're splitting up this 4x to 2 times 2x, and we're splitting up this one to, we could do it a couple different ways. We could also call this one e to the 2x squared, like that, so these two things would look the same, like that. Either way, I think this one's a little nicer, so we'll go with this one. If we let u, so let's get rid of this one. If we let u equal e to the 2x, so we're going to use a different letter. Everywhere we see this e to the 2x, we're going to replace it with a u. And we're going to try to do the problem as if it didn't have e's in it. U squared minus 3u minus 18 equals 0. We're going to factor this, and it factors real nice. U and u, 18 is 6 and 3. Signs are different. I need a negative 3, so I'll do it like this. And I'll set both factors equal to 0. And I'll get u equals negative 3 and u equals 6. So that's what u equals. Since u equals e to the 2x, then therefore negative 3 equals e to the 2x, and 6 equals e to the 2x. And we have to solve those. In order to solve those, we're going to take a ln of both sides. ln of this side and this side, or over here ln, and over here ln of both sides. And now, ln of 3, try to put that in your calculator. It doesn't give you anything. So this one doesn't produce an answer because e to no power is going to give you a negative 3. But this one here, we have ln of 6, which is a number. Move the 2x out front. Ln of e is 1, so I got 2x equals ln of 6. And if I divide both sides by 2, I'm going to get ln of 6 over 2 for a final answer. And you can actually type that into your calculator and find out what it is. So, again, try these homework problems. Do the ones that I've done. Do them over again. And you can look back at this video or take notes on it and look back at your notes and make sure you got all of them right. So I will see you in our chat session, whether you're a Wednesday or Thursday class during your regular class time. I'll see you then. Bye-bye. Have a good night.